Hey everybody, how's it going? It's been a long time. I'm back from China and thought, you know what, I had to share. I didn't take a bunch of pictures, but I took some pictures. I took a bunch of video. In fact, it took me 2 days so we did 2 days to shoot the one market, and then it was another day to shoot the next market. So I actually spent 3 days filming of just market footage. So there's two different markets actually, and so we're gonna go through some pictures and just talk about some things. And I should start off by saying I won't tolerate racism or anything like that. That's already been at bay or at play in Instagram, that kind of stuff. So that's just not gonna fly. Also, should say we have a discount going on. If you use the code birthday, because it was my birthday yesterday, you save 9% with the 5% rewards. It's like 14% off. My birthday was on the 14th. You can see how that works, 14% off. So that goes until Monday night at midnight, I believe. So, some things like the Flu Ball 3.0s and that kind of stuff, it's the best deal I think we've ever had on them for sure. So if you're in the mood to be buying, you could do that. But I'm going to go and get on with the show. Looks like the sound's working. Everyone's wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you much. I appreciate it. The reason I was late, I got stuck in traffic on the way back from Joel's birthday. His birthday is one day after my birthday, and he had a barbecue, and we were there. So, and then there was an accident on the way back. I wasn't in it, but caused a delay. So, let's go ahead and dive into some pictures. It's going to lag for a second because there's so many pictures lined up that it's a little bit laggy. So we'll see if this works and doesn't explode. There we go. So we landed at like 8 o'clock at night, Hong Kong time. And by the time we got to the hotel, which was like about 9, this was the view we had from the pier of the hotel we were at. So we kind of walked out, and this is kind of the nighttime look at Hong Kong. And you can see way back in the distance there's like some mountains and stuff. We actually went and looked at those mountains. We got views from up there as well, but that's different video, different pictures, that type of thing. So, but yeah, so it was cool. Got in late, super tired, and then it was straight to the next day. We went to the market. Let me see here. So yeah, then you see stuff like this. This was, the stuff that YouTube videos are made of, and that type of thing where you're going, I'm gonna get to see this. And a lot of people freaked out at this picture when I went on Instagram, going, it's so cruel and blah, blah, blah. How long can they live? And that type of thing. And what you don't see with this picture is the thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So the reason why they do this is there's so many buyers that let me back up a couple steps here. The market opens at like 10:30 a.m., but they start bagging at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And full-on rush is like noon to 3 or so. And so when it's full-on rush, it's like being at like Times Square in New York, where there's just a billion people walking by. Everyone's picking up fish, looking at them, analyzing them. And the cool thing was, with so many people, you could get a good look at the fish, because you could take the bag off and you could look at it. And you could see the prices really easy, and it was based on all kinds of stuff. So there's discus, there's clown loaches, there's lots of tetras, there's even plants. And the question that people ask a lot is, how often are they getting rebagged? And to be honest, I don't know. I've asked some, the people I could, and they, from what I could tell, they would rebag at the end of the night if they weren't sold. But so many were selling that, like, the way I witnessed multiple vendors were, if someone wasn't actively buying from them, then they were bagging up more fish to hang up because they were selling so fast. So, I'm sure there's going to be things that, like, let's say this discus or that, bicher or something just isn't going to sell, and then they get rebagged the next day or something like that. And there's holding tanks. Like, you can't really see them in this picture, but in the back, well, not in the back, but like in the little cubby hole of a store, there are tanks in which you can offload them for the night and that type of thing. So, they've got a plant in there for a little bit of shelter and that kind of stuff. And amazingly, there wasn't a ton of dead fish or anything like that. Like you would just think there would be, but there just wasn't. Someone said they're getting a lot of echo. Is that true? Could be. No? So Jimmy says we're good. Okay. But yeah, so it was crazy in the fact that there was an insane variety, an insane amount of people, and a lot of commerce going on. I think the biggest hang up for most people is if we're from America or the UK or wherever we're from, our hobby is so much smaller than the hobby that's going on in China right there that we, like most fish stores wouldn't even sell as many fish that are on that wall, and yet they might turn that over every 2 hours. So, it's not comprehensible, but you're going to see a lot of other cool things, or at least I think a lot of cool things. So Alvin said 8 Hong Kong dollars to $1 US. That might be true. It was fluctuating while we were there. I seem to remember about $15 or $16 US got you about 100 Hong Kong dollars. So you can kind of look at some of those prices. I don't know, discus at 328, that makes them about $45. But there's more than one discus in there and that type of thing. So, but I will say this, and the person so Denny's Pet World, which is a local fish store to me, is the one that brought me along for this business trip. And the whole reason we went was to actually do some business. But we were shocked at how few dead fish there were just anywhere. And it wasn't like there was teams of people looking for dead fish, and pulling them as soon as they saw them. It just straight up fish were super healthy. So, yeah. So this is a, like if you turn the corner, like there is hundreds of these stores and walls of fish. And when I say hundreds, I literally mean hundreds, not just like, oh, there's 5 or 6 in a row. We're talking like miles of city blocks. And I didn't really get it in photo as much as I did video. There's tons of video. And that was one of the hardest things was I was taking so much video and I forgot to take, pictures and stuff like that. So I'd have to stop, take pictures. And so actually the second day when I went back was a lot of picture taking. So I didn't miss a bunch of stuff. But you can see just how many goldfish are in these tanks. And you can see they all have above tank sumps. So above the tank, there's a little sump there. And what I was mostly surprised about was how clear the water was. Like they used a lot of air in there to keep enough oxygen in the water, but there wasn't a lot of debris and that type of thing. So they're clearly doing some big water changes. I mean, I say clearly. I don't know that for a fact, but I assume they're doing big water changes, and their filtration was top notch. Like it was handling, so if we think about it and you think about like going to a wholesaler, watching a video where I go to a wholesaler, their tanks aren't nearly as good as this, and these are stocked way heavier. So, it's kind of a weird thing to see how efficient they've gotten, and it's spaced at a premium. I mean, if you look in the vlogs and that kind of stuff, you'll see these high rises that people are living in and the small apartments and that kind of stuff. So it's, it somehow it works. And the other thing is I don't know how long those fish stay there. People were buying all the time. And some of these pictures were taken intentionally, like right when the market opened, because I knew there'd be the least amount of people to get the best picture. So we were attempting that kind of stuff. So you can see here, this was a little bit later in the night. This is one of the, as I call them, kind of an ADA store. So you can see in the top right hand, they sell Aqua Design Amano stuff. And you couldn't film inside the store. So you could and you couldn't. So I asked the first gentleman and they said yes, but then I got like a few steps in and they're like, no, you can't film in here. So I stopped filming. So I got this picture from the outside, and that tank that is planted and scaped there was mind-blowing. It's huge for one, and it just had so much dense, lush growth. It was super cool. And you could see on the racks there, they're selling tons of plants. And I actually think that's a really good way to sell plants. I saw this in Japan as well when I was there, of just kind of this grab what you need, that type of thing. And, I would almost go out on a limb and say it's better for plants to be in a bag like that because they were getting some sunlight. And, so there's that. So Dan Hessler says there's no picture sign on the tank. Definitely. I asked every single thing that there's a picture taken of or video I asked, and it was mostly from when we were talking with locals and that kind of stuff. They don't really mind tourists taking pictures. It's other, let's say, people from China and that kind of stuff, because there's a big problem with like design theft and that type of thing, products and that type of stuff. So that's why they deter it so much. But for me, I definitely asked everyone, and don't get me wrong, let's say there was, and this is probably an accurate thing, let's say there's 700 aquarium stores. I would say at least half of them said, no, we'd rather you don't film or no, not take pictures. And I always held up basically my cell phone and made like this little, like, ka-chink, like action where like I'm going to take a picture and that kind of stuff. And, because I didn't know the language. But, at least half of them, let me do it. And so this is what you got to see, that type of thing. And so, yeah. But tons of cool stuff. Every space or every square inch used. And, really cool. And the stores were so small, and yet they packed in so much. So Joel asked if I got recognized. I did not get recognized while I was there. At least no one came up to me. And it's without using a virtual private network, you actually can't get to things like Google and YouTube and that type of stuff while you're in China. So in Hong Kong you can now. They just launched Facebook and that kind of stuff over in Hong Kong, so they're opening up to it. But yeah. So let's see the next picture here. Oh, this was a cool one. So on the left-hand side, you see a rack of fish, and there's blood parrots and angels and all that kind of stuff. And that was its own little store. And then on the right-hand side, you can't see it, but there's another store there. And in the middle here, this is an alleyway. So where two buildings came together, there was an alley, and they set up tanks and then like tarped over the top. And there's really, really nice goldfish down that alleyway. But every single inch of this entire space was just full of fish. And there was also some flower horns down at the very end. But the goldfish that you'll see in the video and stuff, they were so big and so, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we don't even get goldfish here in the United States compared to what was going on over there. It was mind-blowing to me. And, don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've been to farms. I've done that kind of stuff. And, I was the classic cartoon with my, jaw on the floor just every time I turned a corner going, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's going on. And this right here, like, the goldfish were amazing, right? And it wasn't even, like, that special in terms of, like, there was 100 of these people, right? It's not like this was the only one, this was the best. It's like just multiple tons of it. And, so it was hard to it's hard to get it on pictures and film and that kind of stuff. And I hope I can do it even some justice. But my whole goal of this trip, not the whole goal, but of filming this part was to hopefully bring the Hong Kong market and the Guangzhou market that I went to YouTube from a fish keeper standpoint, not just as a tourist. It's like, look at this crazy market that's happening, but as an actual fish person going, wow, look at this, look at that, look how they're doing this, that's super cool, and that type of thing. And it was super cool, there's all these chairs and everything. There's just so many people working and buying, and you could see down on the floor there's little bowls. So there was a gentleman who was netting out goldfish and top viewing them and picking them out and taking it very seriously. And this was, later at night. You can see a lot of the lights are on and that type of thing. So it wasn't sunlight, it was nighttime. And I think the first day I filmed, we got there at about 10 a.m., so they weren't quite open yet. So I got some good pictures, and we were leaving at 6. And I'll show you some of the traffic we had to get through to get home and that type of thing. So let me scroll down here. What do we got next? So here, this is more in like the afternoonish area, and you would think you're on like a busy street and people are trying to get somewhere, but all the people you see are just trying to buy. That's and that's the crazier part. And I didn't want to get too many people on camera, and so I was just like, I just need to get a shot of like people buying and looking. And I did some panoramic shots that are up on Facebook and that type of thing. And then in the video, you can see the scale where I turn around and there's just hundreds and thousands of people buying and carrying stuff. And then there'd be electric bikes and stuff like that carrying more fish in to restock and all that kind of crazy stuff. And I don't know, it was an experience. I didn't buy a single fish. and yet it was one of the cooler things I've ever done. My wife enjoyed it, and I look forward, if I get to go back, to bring other people. Someone asked, what's the most popular fish? I don't know exactly what the most popular fish is. I can tell you, I feel like the fish that was the most prevalent would either have been goldfish or blood parrots, because there were lots of stores dedicated to both. Like, not both as in, oh, I sell blood parrots and goldfish, but like, this store only sells blood parrots, this store only sells goldfish. And there was just so much cool stuff. You know, it's, I don't know. I really hope you guys dig the video, because it was really fun making it. And if you guys really enjoy it, I get to go back. Like, I want to go to what is it? Like Vietnam and Korea and stuff like that. I want to visit all over the world and check out their markets. And in the video, like on the vlog channel and stuff, there'll be stuff, because so what you guys don't know is, well, I'm saying you guys don't know. I'm just assuming you didn't know, like I don't know until I was there. But a lot of the markets are very niche. So it's all these fish, you know, in hundreds and hundreds of stores, right? But then, you know, a mile down the road, it was the bird market, and it's hundreds and hundreds of bird vendors. And then a mile down the road, it was the houseplant market. And then there's like dogs and cats and turtles and all that kind of stuff. So it was crazy how, and like you'd go down one road and it'd be like, oh, here's 100 stores, and all they do is make neon or LED signs. And then the guy that brought me John told me that there was one street he went down where the whole street was nothing but hangers, like coat hangers. You know, so it's really, because we're in an industrial like zone type of thing where there's lots of manufacturers and that kind of stuff, it was crazy. So many stories to tell, so little time. So then like that first day was over, and then this was like we were up on a bridge trying to get home, trying to get back to the subways, and I took this picture and it was crazy. And what I wanted to point out is, so you're going, yeah, there's a lot of cars. Realize these aren't cars. Those are buses, right? So there's tons and tons and tons of buses all trying to move people around, and we're trying to get back to the subway where, you know, it's not easy to get on or off that subway, but the sheer amount of people moving around, and you know, so just gives it a little bit of perspective, I guess. I thought so. I thought, you know, like, yeah, you know, if in New York you'd see a lot of cars, you wouldn't see like there's 30 buses right there or something like that. So it was pretty nutty to me anyway. So then I think this is at the Guangzhou market. So this would have been a few days later. And this is just showing some of the different biomedia. Like I just walked up, and this is one of the first stalls where they've got about every type of bio ring you could want. And they've got lava rock, and they've got Substrat Pro from Eheim. And I will say, if I learned anything from China, it would be that they use an insane amount of bio rings, or at least biological material. Like, you know, so if you saw 100-gallon aquarium, they'd have 50 gallons down below in a sump filled with biological material. And it was, I'm extrapolating because there's a language barrier, and it's not like I could really ask them and get down to the nitty gritty. But it really seemed like a correlation between water quality and sheer amount of biological, which doesn't make sense, because you would think it would be water quality looking really good would be mechanical filtration, but they didn't run that much mechanical filtration compared to biological. So was there a lot of people that spoke English? I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, everyone spoke more English than I spoke Mandarin or Cantonese. Like they knew more words than I knew, you know, like I could say thank you and Ngoi, which was thank you in Cantonese, and that type of thing. And, you know, but they definitely knew more English than I knew of their language. And every once in a while you'd run into someone who really knew English well, and you could converse a little bit, but they weren't necessarily a fish person, or they didn't have time to talk, that type of thing. So, you know, it was just cool. And I just now was looking, because you don't have time to read everything, right? Like I'm just overwhelmed. And I was looking at these bags in the back, and that's all special turtle feed, apparently. I didn't, you know, there's lots of stuff around, but we'll take a look at the next picture here. So there's a bunch of these types of stores. And so these are all mixed in with the fish market stores and all that kind of stuff. And this company basically specialized in making chillers, and I think they made some air pumps too. But the weird part to me is, in a U.S. store, maybe, I think at most I've ever seen like 5 chillers, maybe, and maybe 5 different stores that had them. And yet, here's 500 chillers. And then you're going, okay, yeah, so there's a chiller store. And then I would tell you, like, there's 10 more of these stores that just specialize in selling chillers. Like, it's on that scale that is hard for me to fathom. Like, not only have I never seen a store like this that specializes in chillers, I've never seen 12 of them in the same mile area. It was weird. So I have to assume that there's a factory making these, and this is like their display room, but they also just sell completely retail. So, yeah, Ed's Fish says, I've never seen that many chillers, even in a warehouse. Yeah, it was, the scale of things were just mind-blowing. It was the most of everything I'd ever seen when it comes to aquatics on each part. Like, it wasn't just fish, wasn't just dry goods. It was, so crazy. Would I buy fish from Hong Kong? I would. I mean, from the quality I saw, the fish were looking absolutely great. And I know I get some fish when I import. So, like, tomorrow we'll go to the airport and we're going to pick up some fish just anyways. And some of them will be from China. I don't know, like, what farm or anything like that, But were they cheap? I don't know. I wasn't price checking chillers and that kind of stuff, but in general, pretty much everything I saw in China was cheap except for milk. Milk was very expensive, but most food and everything in general was relatively cheap. I mean, I did buy a few things, and you might get to see some of that stuff at the end here, but felt cheap. But so it felt cheap being from the U.S. When I was in Hong Kong at the end of that day, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, how can things be this cheap / there be this many people working and all that kind of stuff? And the minimum wage, when I Googled it, was like $4 and some cents, for US dollar equivalent. So that would be like, off the top of my head, maybe $25 Hong Kong dollars, something like that. So, yeah, so I definitely felt like my money went really far coming from the US to go there. But if you lived there, it'd be normalized, right? So, all right. So here, this is still outside. So this is not in a store like that one we saw went back into the store. This would be something like on the outside of a store, and it was pretty common to see. And the densities of fish were really high. And you can see there's stuff being bagged up, and you can see there's people all around, and they're doing water changes, and there's fish coming in at the top there. You can see some bags of fish coming in. And I got the sense that a lot of them, like, not necessarily traded, but, like, let's say this store brought in an entire shipment of balloon mollies, and then they would go, well, I'll bag up 200 of those and sell it to another store that's a mile down the road or something like that. But the densities were high, but the fish looked amazing. I didn't get a picture of it. I got a video of it, but a few of the stores had these rummy nose tetras, but the backs of them were all like shiny, right? So they were like a metallic scaled rummy nose tetra. I got to find me some of those. They looked really cool in person. And so the other thing, a lot of people were asking, like, aren't they going to get too cold and that type of thing? It's pretty much, from when I was there, it was always like 80 degrees and super humid. So it's perfect temperature to have fish. Like, they don't really run heaters, that type of thing. So, but yeah, you can just see, like, and this would have been like 2 different stores, by the way. So, like, you'd have the store on the left that's selling some tanks and then those fish. And then, like, that gap, probably that's another store. Like, that's how close those stores are running next to each other. So it's, and you can see in the top middle of the first rack of tanks, they've got, like, the rummy nose guppy and that kind of stuff. They have so many incredibly rare fish. Yeah, so it's I don't know how to explain it really. But Alvin says, wait till you go to Thailand. It's half of what you would have paid in Hong Kong. Yeah, I want to go to Thailand and check out the stuff. I mean, for me, it's not really about how much the stuff costs. It's about learning about it. Maybe like, oh, look at the densities they're keeping. I wonder if we can do that. I wonder, learning is really what I go for. So, So then, of course, you had tons and tons of like Asian arowanas, and this tank is mostly, this was like a tank manufacturer. The store mostly focused on selling tanks here, and so they've got black diamond stingray. They've got a platinum red tail catfish. First time I had seen one of those in person. Lots of blood parrots, Asian arrow, some peacock bass. And you can actually see in the reflection in a different tank. If you look in the kind of the top left in the reflection, you can see the platinum gar that was in a different tank. And these tanks were super cool because they were all run like digitally. So they had TDS displays, they had temperature display, they had flow displays. So the technology was really high on these tanks, and a lot of the tanks had that. Where basically, from what I could cobble together, I think it's like people were putting all these money into these setups, and they were going to run them heavily stocked, and they wanted all these indicators to make sure flow wasn't being reduced, TDS wasn't getting too high, that the temperature wasn't straying from where it needed to stray, and I'm sure there was other parameters as well, but it had a big LCD panel on it that would you could just, it was kind of like the Fluval G series filters, like on crack. They were just like wicked. They were nice, and they had big sumps on them and that type of thing. Like, these were really cool. I hope they catch on in the U.S. market, because I think they're really good. I mean, they're probably, I don't know exactly how expensive they are. They couldn't have been super cheap, but they were really cool. So I definitely was down with the way they were running those types of tanks. So here, this is a kind of a crazy thing here. So there's actually two pictures on top of each other. I apologize. But this is a protein skimmer. So I took a selfie of me in front of a protein skimmer. So if I'm 5'10", that protein skimmer is what, 7 or 8 feet tall? And the crazy part to me is, in the U.S., I've never walked into a fish store ever and been like, oh yeah, that's where I buy my 8-foot protein skimmer for saltwater tank. But they had this one, and behind it there was like the 6-foot version, and that's just out and about. You can see behind it all the saltwater fish for sale, and like that's just a thing. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, need my 8-foot skimmer. I'll pop down to the fish market and buy one. Like the fact that it even exists is mind-blowing to me. So I don't know, I thought that was super cool, and I was like, man, not every day you can take a picture next to an 8-foot protein skimmer. So I did, and it was fun. So here, these are those themed stores I'm talking about. This store, all they do is blood parrots. And not only do they do blood parrots, they do ridiculously nice-looking blood parrots with perfectly grown bodies and that type of thing. You can see here on the bottom, so it's all tiled down on the floor, and they're bagging up blood parrots. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, maybe they're reselling some of these somewhere, but this is why I did think they got to be one of the most sold fish, because there were, in Guangzhou, where we were, there was over 7 million people. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me there was 14 million blood parrots in Guangzhou. They were everywhere. Every tank had some. Every vendor had some, and but it was, I don't know, it was cool to see. And the densities are crazy high. I mean, no one's denying that, like, that is an insane amount of fish to that much water. And yes, you could go like, oh, that's not good long term, Sure, no, there's no one disputing that. But instead, I look at it and I go, okay, yeah, but I can't pull that off in my store. What is it they're doing with their sump technology and that kind of stuff that's allowing them to pull this off and have them be super healthy? There's no fin rot going on. There's no ammonia burns. It's just super cool. So you can see here, like, there's some oxygen tanks. So when they pack them to, ship them or do whatever they're doing with them, they pack them with oxygen. And you can see the roll-up door. Like, a lot of the stores, they were just like a what do you call it? Like a garage door. Just rolls up and they're ready for business. So yeah, there was this type of store for everything, though. There would be like a store of just guppies. There'd be a store of just discus, just arowanas, just stingrays, just African cichlids, but it would be even more specialized than that. It would be like just yellow labs and ACIs. Like, it would be crazy, like niche to a specific type of fish, which maybe that lends itself. So like, maybe if you have this many blood parrots, you can keep this many because all you need to know is how to keep blood parrots really, really, really well. Like, you know their aggression levels, you know what they got to eat, you know how much waste they're going to make, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know, you know. But all I kept thinking is, I can't do this. I would love to learn how to be able to do it. Not that I necessarily would do it, but that technology that's there would help me in densities that I keep. So yeah, I mean, someone said maybe 100% water changes a day. Totally could be. But what if he also found out that, like, what if there was so much biomedia that there wasn't ammonia in the water and so they didn't need to do that? Like, that could be a legit thing, right? So, you know, I find that we all assume a lot of things, but when you really start looking at stuff, you're going, wait a second, that might not actually be the way that is. So I take it as a big learning opportunity. Let's see what we got on the next picture, shall we? Oh, one of the discus stores. So this store only had discus, and I take that back. They had a few normal plecostomus in the tanks as well. But what I would, so obviously there's a lot of beautiful discus, and, I filmed this whole store, and it's amazing, and it's not even big, right? It's like Dean's Fish Room big, where it's got, it's a 10 by 20 room maybe, and it's got 1 billion fish in it, and they all look really good. They don't look stunted. Look at the bottom of the tanks. They look clean. There's not algae around, and I don't know, it was another one of those crazy moments where you're going, I don't know how they pull this off. That's just crazy to me. And yet, here it was working well. They did run heaters in here because they were running them warmer. 80 degrees isn't warm enough for discus typically. And they had breeding pairs and that kind of stuff. And, but I myself have never seen so many healthy discus in one spot, right? So, never at a wholesaler, never at another store or anything like that. I've never seen that many healthy discus in one spot. Plus the variety was crazy. Yeah, so it was, I took a video and I was trying to, their breeding, I assume they're breeding pairs. They had a breeding cone in there, and they were just massive, massive adults. I'm hoping the video caught how big they were, because in my mind, they were the biggest ones I'd ever seen hands down. But you put up a hand, and then if they weren't up against the glass, it didn't quite look like they were that big. So I'm hoping it'll show like how big they actually are or were. So, all right, let's take a look at another picture, shall we? So there was lots of plants as well, planted tanks. This one was right in the very front of one of the stores. Just a simple scape, but it looked nice. And it was one of the few stores I could take a picture, so I did. And you can see they've got a lot of the stuff that was popular in China was ADA stuff, but then there was also like Up Aqua, and I'm trying to think of other plant companies that make it over here sometimes. And, so this place would have had like a ton of lights, ton of fertilizers, and ADA stuff, maybe some Eheim gear, and lots of CO2 stuff. And they would specialize mostly in selling that stuff as opposed to the plants or tanks. It was kind of weird. Like, that would be their thing, though. They'd be like, oh, we got all that kind of stuff for a planted tank. So, yeah. So, someone said this is a simple scape. It relatively is a simple scape. I mean, you've got a bunch of epiphyte plants or Java ferns up on the wood, and then you've got the rock base, and then you carpet around it. So it's called the island scape. It's one of the easier ones. So assuming you can grow plants reasonably well, this is one of the easier scapes to make it look, oh my God, that looks really good. The only thing that, in my opinion, and I always hate to critique scapes because I'm a guy that's too lazy to scape, but the red, like Scarlet Temple they have over in the corner here, they're probably growing it out a bit. That could break up the tank somewhere. More towards that middle maybe, but they're probably just growing it out, But right now they've got a lot of Java ferns, buces, and a few stems, and then the carpet, with little bristlenose in there. But, great tank. Don't get me wrong. I hate to critique stuff because it seems like you're tearing something apart when really it's like just talking about it. Did I see any Sun filters in the store? I don't think I saw any Suns. To be honest, there wasn't a lot of cancer filters. Like, their canister filters were not popular in China. Like, they were there. They'd be on the planted tanks for lily pipes for minimal intrusion look, but sumps were on everything. Sumps. Was there a coral market? So there wasn't as much saltwater as there was freshwater. They were still there. We saw one of the best coral stores. So John, who was with me, agreed the most insane stuff we'd ever seen in person. There was lots of stuff that I'm like, I never even seen that, hadn't seen it in a picture, mind-blowing, but we weren't allowed to film. So one of those things, like we saw, this is the coolest stuff of the stuff we're allowed to film. There was still even cooler stuff we weren't allowed to film, and I'm not trying to break rules and make people angry. So, but yeah, I don't remember the store name, but there was also a store that I think I got on video while I was walking by, but the tank was had to be 4,000 or 5,000 gallons of saltwater fish. Really cool. Sat on the floor, was 5 feet tall, and super duper cool. Let's see what else we got here. We're getting towards the end of the picture. Then we can take questions. Oh yes, here we're picking out goldfish and koi, and you can see there's blood parrots in the background. But they've got everything bagged up, and you have this gentleman here, and what I did like about the system is you could pick one up, you could really look at it, instead of trying to look into a tank and look at all the sides of the pleco, you're holding it, and you could really look at it from the bottom, look at it from the top, turn it all around, pick up the next one, and when you decided the one you want, you didn't have to explain no, I need you to catch that one. You just set that bag aside, go shop for the next one, and so that system actually did work really, really well. And you can see there's a woman up front to the right there with a bowl and some fish in there, and she was picking out the fish she wanted out of those trays, and she'd pick the exact one you wanted, and you'd put it, then they would bag it for her and that type of thing, and it was really good at getting the specific fish you wanted, and I felt like they've got that really dialed in well of, kind of what you see is what you get, no accidental, didn't mean to get that one or anything like that. Yeah, it was good times. Let's see what we got next here. Oh, yes. I wonder what the last picture is. But so this was a store. All they sold was filtration. So they sold a lot of those XY-280 sponge filters and that type of thing. And there was a lot of fire extinguishers in a lot of the stores. I have a feeling that if a store was to catch fire, they would spread because it was so close together. And I guess I don't have a picture of it, but what you'll see in video, I forgot to even tell you guys this. You guys are only looking at the bottom level. These fish stores go up 5 stories or more. So even if there's 100 stores on the ground floor, there'd be steps to go up to the 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 5th floor, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stores. So I got that on video where I'm at the 3rd story, looking across to the other building, looking into another fish store 3 stories high across the way. So it was kind of crazy, And these sponge filters, look how big those sponge filters are compared to those fire extinguishers. They're ginormous, super duper big. But they had every kind of sponge filter and pad and everything you could want, bio rings and and in the right behind the fire extinguishers there, they had the big blocks or circular cylinder media and that kind of stuff. Was there much in the way of Central and South American cichlids? Not a ton, but they did have some really cool variants, some albino aquidins. I'm trying to think. I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. I have to see them, and then I go, oh yeah, it's these. But they did have some cool stuff. I definitely have more pictures and stuff. This is what I could cobble together to tell a cohesive kind of story, I guess. So yeah, let's see what the last picture is. Oh, wait, this is the last picture. Oh, so we'll go back here. So I couldn't leave China without getting the largest sponge filter in the world. So I had to bring one back with me. And you can see the size of my head next to sponge filter. And so John, who was with me, thought I was insane because this thing weighs 20 pounds. The base of this thing is massive. And I had to bring it on all the subways and everything, and then I had to buy more luggage just to cram this thing in here to get it home, and the, I yeah yeah it's I'm setting it on the desk next to me. It's taller than I am, but I bought it and I still had like 5 more days in China, so I had to lug it around the rest of the trip, and yeah, so something like this. The cool thing was, at the actual store, it was only $30. It was, basically, I think it was like, 200. Yeah, it was 190, either yuan or Hong Kong dollars, whichever. I can't remember exactly where I bought it. So yeah, but then I had to buy luggage, and then it itself, I almost went overweight. It's crazy, but it's going in the back of the Real Fish Talk on the mantle, so I can say I've got the world's largest sponge filter, and. So yeah, I mean, for the 800 gallon, I thought about it. It'd just be funny, but it's, I'm going to use it just to take pictures. And my wife thought I was insane. I'm like, you don't get it. It's not that I need a sponge filter that big. It's that, for promotional and taking pictures next to it and that type of thing. So, ooh, that's a good idea, the Turtle Girls. Can we get a like spike? Everyone hit the like button right now. Let's all hit the like button and really make the trending go nuts. So what was I was trying to read some questions while I was telling the story and that type of thing. What was the one thing I didn't like about the fish markets? If I have to be totally honest, I did not enjoy the turtles. The turtles, in my opinion, and this is me. So let me preface this by saying I'm not as well versed in turtles as I am in fish. But the density of turtles in the tubs were really, 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 really high. And there was not a lot of water. And that water was not clean. And there was not filtration. And you could see dead turtles around. And so that was off to like the side of the market. It wasn't like mixed in the market or anything. But the turtle part of that market, it's just different. I'm not going to say it's wrong or anything like that. It's just, it made me uneasy. I wasn't enjoying looking at it. I took a few pictures just because they had some cool things like some albino red-eared sliders, which were cool. So that's I guess that's the thing, is like the albino red-eared sliders, they would be like in a tub, right? And there'd be like 3 of them in there and they'd be pretty small, seem good. But then normal red-eared sliders, that same tub, there'd be like 400 of them. And that didn't seem good. And so, it really, I guess, exacerbated these are worth money, these aren't, so we care more or don't. I mean, I'm projecting onto people, and that's not right to do, because maybe they care a lot, and maybe they do just fine, and maybe I'm not in the know, so I don't want to pretend like I'm in the know. But that was the part I didn't like the least, or the most, because it made me feel uneasy. That being said, it was cool to see, like they had Mata turtles, which I think are really cool and that kind of stuff. So I did walk through it, but I didn't film too much of it because I don't know, I wasn't enjoying it. So why didn't I buy any fish while I was there? Mostly because it's really a pain to get them back to the United States through all the documentation, and to get, like, you'd have to know someone that would ship it, right? And so if you went to like a farm or a wholesaler, they're going to be like, oh yeah, but we want to ship you thousands of dollars worth, not just this one fish or anything like that. Was there any smell at the fish market? Not really. I mean, it just smelled like China, right? So like it didn't, like it had its own smell, but I wouldn't say it was good or bad or anything like that. But it didn't smell different. Like if I went to the furniture street, it smelled the same as the fish street. Like it was pretty well kept, honestly. Like it was a bunch of chaos. That's the thing, is like it was crazy in the fact that there's a million fish, million people, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it wasn't as chaotic as you would think. Like it was nice. So let's see here. How was the air quality? Air quality, I don't know. I went in thinking like, oh man, this is gonna be brutal. I don't know what to expect. And honestly, it was hazy, but it was never hard for me to breathe or anything like that. So yeah, it was, okay, I would say. without having like a meter to meter, like, oh, our air quality is this. Like, it didn't really, it didn't really affect me. I did see some fly river turtles. They'll be on the video because there was some of those monster tanks that had them. So let's say I got 100 pictures. There's 100 hours worth of video. Like, I just filmed and filmed and filmed and filmed and filmed and filmed. And so much so that it was really hard on my wife and people with me because they're like, aren't you done filming yet? And I'm like, yeah, but I got to capture it all. I got to get it all. So hopefully, it comes out as well as it was in person. If I can do, 1/10 of it, then it'll be worth it. Was there any rare koi? The only rare koi I saw, the koi were good quality, but they're starting to make some short body koi. So I thought that was kind of cool. So it was basically like, taking a normal goldfish and making like a ranchu. They're doing that with some of the koi. And I took a picture of that. Let me see if I can get that for you guys on the fly. Because I did take a picture of it. And I thought it was super cool because I hadn't seen it yet. And to me, if there was ever an animal to dwarf, I think it's koi. Like koi and common goldfish. Well, common goldfish, there's like basically smaller versions of, or not common goldfish, common plecos. There's like smaller versions of that already, but not necessarily when it comes to koi, especially like platinum koi and stuff. I apologize. This is not making for good video while I search for more pictures, but I've got a lot more pictures to dig through here. Ooh, I'll bring this one up just because it's cool. Let's see if this is like a train wreck or not. Hold on. Oh, I got to go to the other scene. Give me 1 sec. We'll see if this turns into the... Nope, Corey broke it, or... Oh, we can keep going. All right, I'm almost there again. It takes a long time to set this slideshow up, by the way. It's not my favorite thing. There's one... This is a platinum gar that I thought was cool. Oh, I got to stretch it and everything? So there you go. Big Datnoid, platinum gar. I thought that was super cool. Why weren't I allowed to take more pictures? Well, I could take pictures, but I think video is just a better form of pictures for the most part. So I focused on taking a lot of video, and then there were definitely shops that just wouldn't let you film. So then there was that, which I respected. I didn't, I'm not there. I don't want to like make enemies or anything like that. I'm not trying to make it, be rough. Oh yeah, we could show this right here. So I also went to the bird market and stuff like that. That'll be on the vlog channel. So as many fish as you've seen, there was that many birds. So that was kind of crazy. We didn't spend a lot of time there, but it was mostly just to go, yeah, all right. They full blown into birds, full blown into turtles, full blown into all the things pets wise. We also went, I guess I could show you guys some stuff. We also went to the, I don't know what to call it other than like Monkey Mountain and that kind of stuff, where we went and saw the monkeys and you can get super close to them, that type of thing. So there was lots of that kind of stuff, which that's in the vlog. But what was I looking for? Oh, I was looking for the short body koi. It might still be on my phone, but let me see if I can find it here. Oh, it's not showing me. Yeah, all right. It's not showing me on the video camera anymore either, because it's not set up quite correctly. Ooh, this is a cool. All right, I keep finding cool pictures. This was a big pond filled with arowanas. So, and the coolest part, let me see if I can fix this here. Let me see if I can fix. There we go. The coolest part about this big arowana pond, it had some snooks and some koi in it as well, was that this giant pond that was probably like 6 foot by 6 foot or 8 foot by 8 foot was on wheels. You could move it around. And so I thought that was super cool with the tiled floor and all that. Pretty cool. It was definitely, I was jealous. I was like, man, why don't I have one of those? Did the monkeys try to rob me? Luckily, we knew not to carry any food or anything like that. And so the monkeys didn't harass us. They can get very aggressive. So you actually, there's lots of signs that tell you hey, careful, careful. They will attack you. so here is some of the densities of shrimp, and I don't know. To me, I was shocked at how well like these red painted shrimp were. They looked really good, and there's a billion of them, and they're in a very small thing, like a tank, and I've got video of this whole stack and that kind of stuff, so you'll see the reference of it. But it was super cool. Like, it was just, and that's, I guess the point I'm trying to show is like, what are you into? Oh yeah, they have a billion of that. Oh, you're into that? They have a billion of that. Anything you're into, they got. A cool point about all the pictures you've seen and all the video I took, it was taken with the new Samsung Galaxy S9. So I did everything with that, and it made it super portable, and I wore a lapel mic, and it was unassuming, because if I had grabbed one of our big cameras and I'm, trying to go, hey, I want to film all the things, I think I would have gotten turned down a lot more than I did. So it was, I think that mostly that, I'm just using my cell phone, very unassuming, allowed me, to get in there better. So let's see here. Let's grab some more pictures. By the way, I am back in Seattle, but I want to talk about, we're going to Michigan, May 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm speaking the 4th and the 5th at the American Library Association Convention. And then Sunday, the 6th, Joel and I are flying out to Germany to go to the Super Zoo, Nuremberg. And then we've got a couple of weekend days available after that. So it's like the show's like Monday to Friday, and then we've got like Friday or Saturday and Sunday. And if you're in Germany and you want to show us around and show us some cool stuff, and maybe we'll do a meetup, send me an email, and hopefully you can help us get around. So we've got a couple extra days while we're there, so it's going to be kind of a whirlwind trip. We go to Michigan, we fly to Michigan, then we fly to Germany, then we fly back. But that's my travel schedule, so I hope to see you guys either in Germany or Michigan, because that's why we do these things, to hopefully meet up. But let me find some more cool pictures. I know there's more to share. I guess I could show you some behind the scenes kind of stuff of like, this is Guangzhou, but this is how the people live. So those are very, very big high rises, lots of apartments. And, if 1 out of 10 people have an aquarium, there's going to be a lot of aquariums in those. And I could find other pictures, but you're going, yeah, there's like 4 of those. Yeah, but like, what if you could stand there and count 400 of those? And, so it was the population density. I'm confident now I can only comprehend it by seeing it in person as opposed to hearing about it. Maybe I'll show off some more. I thought this picture was good, taken with a cell phone, my Galaxy S9. I thought it captured clouds and everything pretty well. So I enjoyed that picture. That was the first night we were there. See what else I can find here. We ended up going like way off course to get there, and so there was some cool shots to take up in the airplane. Like, we were looking out, going over this. You're like, wait, I'm going to China, and why do I see this? It's like we're in Russia. Just the way we had to take. So I thought that was kind of a cool shot, and I thought, that ain't bad coming from a cell phone, in my opinion. But I've been a big proponent of cell phones are getting crazy good lately. Let's see here. I'll find some more fish pictures, because I know there's more cool stuff. Oh, I think it's a funny sign, but I don't know what it says, so it could be horrible. But I thought this sign was at the subway, like, don't get caught with the doors closing. I just thought it was, a weird way to depict, like, getting caught. And you could... I thought it was weird how, like, the people on the train, they look sad, but then, like, it's got the cross over the eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, is it a bunch of dead people? Like, what's going on here? And so I just thought that was a weird picture coming from the United States. Like, I'm sure it probably says something like, don't try to board the subway too late, or, something totally makes sense. But if you can't read the language, it's like kind of that's a cartoon, I suppose. Do you guys? Where is that short body koi at? Let's. I can open up this one. Here's some stingray for you. There was a lot of stingrays around for sure. Do you guys want to see some of the pictures of like the factory that I went to? I gotta make sure I can't necessarily show everything, and I've got a lot of videos, so I gotta really make sure I'm showing the right images there. But I think I could show some pictures at least. Let's see here. Oh, these were okay. So I found some more cool scapes and stuff as well. Like I thought these dragonstone scapes were pretty cool, and I really like how they incorporate like little fishing men and little buildings and the boat person and the bridge and all that into their scapes. I think it's super cool, but maybe that's just me. But it added a lot of scale to it, which I thought was nice, and they looked really good. So at the end of the day, if I think it looks good, they've accomplished their goal. They at least impressed me, and they're probably making it to look good, and they want to look at it and want other people to look at it. So let's see. There was some more from that shop, I think. So here I'm at the factory where we're doing business and that kind of stuff. This is some of the bins of rock and wood, and this is on a pretty small scale. This is like where you could kind of just go and look at some stuff. This wasn't really where they were holding it, So you're like, that's a lot. And it's like, yeah, but that's actually not a lot from what they have. Like when you actually get to go see it, let me see if I can find that. Let's see here. So many pictures. So like I took a selfie in one of the bays. These are all just pallets and pallets and pallets of spiderwood. So kind of a lot going on there. And so this would be like a giant greenhouse with like an insane amount. And then you'd be like, oh, well, what about the other types of wood? And be like, yeah, there's more giant greenhouses and storage containers and that kind of stuff filled. Just absolutely filled. Let me see if I can get some scale for you guys. I took these pictures for Instagram, so they're not... Oh, this one will work. There we go. So you can see here's a lot of pallets of spiderwood, and then there's all those cargo containers. All the cargo containers are filled with wood, and then on top of them, they're filled with more wood, and in the background, they're filled with more wood. And then, like, the white bags are, like, bio rings, that type of thing. I'll try to get some more pictures of, like, inside a cargo container so you can see, like, well, what's inside the cargo container? Let's see here. I'll get there. Here's a cargo container. Again, more fire extinguishers, because you can imagine if any of that wood catches fire, it's all really dry and hot. But yeah, you can see that. Yep, you could just walk in and start digging through, and there was so much. Let's see if I can find any more pictures for size and scale, I suppose. And here's another one, that was like the next cargo container over. It's got a little path to get to the center of it, and you could just look all around. This is more of like a Malaysian type of wood. Who do these people supply? Basically the entire world. Like they ship to America, they ship to Germany, Sweden, France, like anywhere that needs these types of supplies, they ship it out. Like that's what they do. Let's see if I can find some other suitable pictures. Oh, this is a really cool fountain. Well, I guess I could show this too. So they've got really big pieces as well. You can see this is a different part of one of the greenhouses. How much spiderwood there is there and how big that piece is. That's just for scale, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was worth taking a picture of. And let's see here. Yeah, this fountain was really cool. I've got a cargo container with products coming over. If I do another cargo container, I might do something like this fountain. This fountain's really cool because it's all carved out. So that's one big piece of ceru stone, right? So it's a big piece of ceru stone, and they carve it out. So it's all one piece, and you can make a wicked cool fountain out of it. So if I do like another cargo container in a year or something like that, or 6 months, I would love to get a piece like this for my patio or something and make it into a fountain and maybe keep some rice fish in there. But you have to move it with a forklift. It has to come off the back of a container. It'd have to like be lowered, all that kind of stuff. Like, so it wasn't exactly like, yeah, just throw it on, I'll take it, why not? You know, because it takes some logistics to get it, you know, get it to go where it needs to go. Let's see here. See if I can find some more pictures. I'll say this is like the quote unquote classic shot that you see a lot of times. Like we saw this wasn't, oh, it's horrible, but this is a bike, and then all these baskets and stuff are on the back of it. You know, it's that classic, like, you know, oh, it's stacked 10 feet tall, that type of thing. They definitely were very efficient with moving stuff around. See if I can find any other good shots here that I can reasonably share. This was the last night we were in Hong Kong again, because we went to Guangzhou after Hong Kong, and then we came back before we had to get to the hotel or get on the plane. And you know, we were out on the ferry at that point. We were taking a ferry across, and you know, we went way up there on those mountains that night, but you can see all the clouds were up there, and so it didn't actually film that well coming back down, or like from the top there. I don't think I have the short body koi on my computer. Otherwise, I would show you guys. It's still stuck on my phone, and it would be too long of a process to get it for you. But I have it on video, so you guys will get to see it. It's just, I'll look for it one more time here. Let's see if I can find. The problem is there's hundreds of pictures. Not all of them, you know, turn out and that type of thing. So you try to find the best ones. And apparently I haven't moved that one over yet. Oh wait, I found it. Yeah, here we go. There's 2 pictures of it. The video does it better, but so you can see this is a platinum Ogon koi, and its middle section is more round like a goldfish, and it's pretty short bodied. So I thought it was cool, and it might, you know, I could see that making its way into the trade, and people going, oh yeah, it's super cool, just like fancy goldfish. You know, at first everyone's going to go, hey, I don't like short-bodied fish or balloon fish, that type of thing. But I think it will catch on because they're so beautiful, and it just makes sense. Like, on one hand, you could be like, yeah, sure, you know, you should just give them a giant home, but most people can't. So, I found some more pictures here. I bought this. You'll see this in the Real Fish Talk backdrop, but I bought an arowana made out of onyx, which is pretty cool. So it's not a great picture here, but, you know, so that was the first day. The first day I lugged this thing around. It's like 30 pounds. My wife not happy as I'm carrying that around. And I bought that halfway through the day, so I carried it around like another like hour. And then we asked them, and they held it for us. And then I had to carry it all through the subways and everything. It's, you know, I'll do a lot for something that I like, I guess. Let's see here. What else can we look at? Where's that other short body koi picture? Oh, I guess I could show you guys. This kind of stuff we saw on Instagram and that kind of stuff. But here's some of the fish. I was trying to remember the name of these guys, but they're a cool albino. I was enjoying these guys. So that you guys might want to see them. Let me find some more pictures here. It's hard to do it on the fly and look through what you've already shown / not shown. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, but lots of beautiful Asian arrows. I really fell in love with the golds. I thought the golds looked really cool. You know, I thought so. But the reds were good too. But if I got to take one, I would take a gold before I would take a red. See if I can find a picture of a red for you. Took lots of video of Asian arowanas because they were easier to film than they were to get a good picture. Yeah, let's try this picture here. So yeah, cool fish. You know, it's let's see if there's any last pictures. I know there's more pictures and stuff like that, but you know, we'll be here all night playing show and tell. Where'd that last koi shot go? Oh, I wanted to buy this, but I didn't buy it. I ended up buying that onyx arowana instead, but this cool wood carved arowana, it was too big. It was the problem. It wasn't going to fit in luggage was what I was mostly worried about. So lots of cool carvings this was like one block away would have been all the furniture and wood carvings and that kind of stuff, and it was lots and lots of furniture. Let me find. These were some catfish that I hadn't seen before. So I took a picture. They looked like an electric catfish to me, but they were real mottled. And I don't know that I had seen the mottled version. This is a blurry picture. I've got a few more pictures, but I got video of it. The video will do it more justice. But I hadn't seen these guys before, and I thought they were cool. Like they were real low in a tank, and you know, anytime I haven't seen something, I always, what is that? Naturally, I think most people do. Oh, this was, I don't know if I showed this picture. I was doing show and tell at Joel's birthday, so I don't, but there's a lot of, you know, you can see on the left-hand side, there's goldfish, that kind of stuff. These are all bags of discus, like 8 discus or whatever, ready to go. And that's just like what this guy was doing. He's on his phone, but, you know, you walk up, you just buy it from him, and then he bags up more. That was his deal. So I just thought it was kind of cool. Oh, here we go. I could show, here's some of those turtles I was talking about. So you can see the albino red-eared sliders. You know, and these turtles, they look okay, honestly. They're like, I didn't take pictures of the ones that were really high density. I just didn't think I wanted to like really remember that or whatever. See if I can find more pictures. Oh yeah, and here were the Matamata babies that I thought were super cool. There's little Matamatas. Look like leaves. I almost could have taken one of those home. I do like Matamata turtles a lot. I guess there's so many pictures I haven't shown you guys. It's getting out of control here. This is kind of, I just like this picture because you can see the goldfish in the totes, and the goldfish were amazing. But then you can see like this guy was on an electric bike, and he's just moving a big bag of goldfish, and you can see everything in the background. You can see giant koi way in the background. And this whole like row was nothing but goldfish and koi and that kind of stuff. And it was just a really cool sight. Let me find more. It's got like a Where's Waldo shirt on. Just noticed that. These were super cool. So they had a big plant market, and they were all kept up out of water. But if you really start looking at it, this is all Anubias on wood, giant pieces, and they've got, you know, mosses and all that kind of stuff. And they just missed it, and it's hot enough and humid enough. I think they get away with it because it's so humid there. Like it's at 80+% like all the time, at least from when we were there. And so they were able to do quite a bit of stuff just out of water like that was pretty cool. And a lot of the plant, I mean, well, all of these are pretty much immerse grown, but maybe everyone locally knew that, oh yeah, they're gonna die back and do their thing. But it was cool to see. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Let's see here. There's got to be more pictures from around that time as well. I guess I can show like some more market type pictures. Here's like another, this is all goldfish. You can see it kind of spans around there, and that was kind of by where that guy had some on his electric bike. Same aisle or road or whatever you want to call it, the goldfish area that one was in. Let's see what else I can spot here. Here's some more. Like you can see the fish density in that. That's what's mind-blowing to me, is how dense the fish are. And yeah, crazy denseness, and a lot of giant gouramis and stuff too. But they were selling a lot of fish. I can't deny that. They were moving a lot of fish. So the bottom left, way down at the bottom left, they have feeders, and they used a lot of feeders for like those peacock bass and that kind of stuff. Did I get a video of the metallic rummy nose? I think so. I don't know in what video. Like I'll have to find it, but I think I got it. I do believe I did somewhere anyway. See if there's anything left to show. I mean, I'm sure there is. Like I don't think I've shown this picture. This store was like all bettas. You can see that guy like taking a nap. But there was a lot of bettas in there, for sure. This was like right when people were just rolling up the doors and that kind of stuff, so it hadn't gotten crazy busy in there yet. So I'm sure you was busy all morning. See what else I can find in this maze of pictures. Let's look at this one. I don't remember why I took this picture. Some of these I got to open up to go, oh yeah, that's why I took this picture. This one was kind of just like a big monster fish arowana store. You can see there's lots. Basically every tank has got a different Asian arrow in it, that type of thing. And a lot of the stores had like a little sit down, because the people would have to stay there like all day, and so they'd have like a little like almost picnic table or tea table. They'd have to eat lunch there, and you couldn't really leave. Like there's I don't want to call it traffic, but so many people and that kind of stuff that it was like kind of their family. I don't know if it was their family business, but it just seemed like it was a family business type of thing. And yeah, so it's probably why I grabbed that picture. I don't know. Sometimes you just see, I saw so many cool things, I can't remember, like, well, what made this part cool besides the fact that it's just a cool picture anyway. Same goldfish market, I think. And they've got pure oxygen. Yeah, lots of goldfish. Lots and lots of goldfish. I got a really cool goldfish pillow I brought back, too. So, but yeah, these goldfish, I would say like, oh, the worst goldfish in one of these tanks is better than my best goldfish. Like just so many goldfish, and so good of goldfish too. That was the other. Let's see what else I can find here. I don't know why I took this picture, but we will look at it. Oh, is this another Asian arowana only store pretty much? Yeah, you can see there's just tons and tons and tons of Asian arowanas all around. After a while, you start taking pictures of stuff you've already kind of taken a picture of because you're like, oh, I better not forget that. Did I take a picture of that yet? See what else I can find in this treasure trove. But yeah, I guess you could show this picture for scale of like the plant areas and stuff. You can just see all those Anubias and that type of stuff all around. Super cool. All on like tiered trays, and they had the drip irrigation system or the mister system. The bottles just held the sprayers. They weren't part of it. They just were weights is all they were. Ooh, that's a good question. Were there any puffers? Not many puffers. There was like green spotted puffers, and like I saw like one Faka puffer, and it was a small guy. But not, yeah, the puffer scene. I mean, maybe I missed, the whole puffer store or something, but I didn't see a whole bunch of them or anything like that. Let's see what else I spy here. Oh, I tried to grab this picture. It's probably blurry. Let's see. Nope, but there was tons and tons of these bikes, electric bike cart things that were moving fish all around. And you can kind of see here, like I'm standing in a fish store, looking across the way at 3 other fish stores. So like there's just, hopefully that video will just show you like, yep, there was hundreds and hundreds of stores. So I'll take a quick little peek. We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. Getting a little long in the tooth. Running out of cool things to show. Let's see here. These I thought were cool. Let's see if I can bring this up here. Oh, I got the worst picture ever. It's not even worth it. But these are all carved stone, and you meant to put them like in your tank like a decoration. But I got the worst blurry picture on the planet. So what I didn't tell you guys, you'll see it in the video, is all those roads in between the stores have cars and stuff going through them. So it's very easy to get hit by a car or a bike or something like that. So you're constantly like, oh God, gotta get out of the way. Woo, almost got hit type of deal. So, you had to be careful for sure. See if I can find anything. Let's see what this is. Yeah, so look at this place. It was like Aqua China chain store number 20. Like it's, I don't know. To me, it's like they don't even really sell fish. It was just a saltwater store and had infinite accessories and all that kind of stuff. But it was pretty uniform that things were either it was either like a dry goods specialty store or it was a fish store. It wasn't so much that they really did both. Like I think there was just so much variety there that there was no need to try and do it all. Just do one thing like better than someone else. I think that was my takeaway. But it's crazy how the different types of stores and the way things were set up and everything. Everything was cool though. What was this store? Oh yeah, that was the Betta store. We showed that one already. So, all right. Well, I think that's all I got for a Sunday. I'm thinking about making the Sunday live streams come back again, and because I miss doing it. I took a break, and obviously I'm gonna do some traveling, so I can't do them every week. But I'm gonna try to do one next week. I'm gonna try to be on time this time and do it at 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I mean, I won't have awesome pictures like this always, but, eventually, hopefully I can, when I get back from Germany, I'll have pictures. We could do another one from there, that type of thing. I appreciate all the super chats and stuff I got. Don't forget, there's the birthday code because it was my birthday this weekend. Save 9% on everything. Just use the code BIRTHDAY. And you also get 5% rewards and all that kind of stuff. And, by you guys buying stuff from me, it allows me to go and do things like this. That's the reason I was there, was a trip to source some products. There's, in my estimation, at least one product I'm bringing in that I haven't seen before ever, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be super cool. So when it comes in, hopefully it is everything I expect it to be, and just like it was like we tested it and that kind of stuff. And, so when you guys buy from me, hopefully I can sell it to you at an okay price. You guys buy it for me. I make 20 cents. We do that a billion times. Then I get a trip to China and I show you guys stuff. So that's hopefully the circle goes round and round and round again. And yeah, I don't know. I've got like no videos ready to go. So we got to scramble to get a bunch of stuff ready for this week. But make sure you check out my vlog channel. You can just go to the main channel here and you'll see there's a vlog. And because some of the China vlog videos, they're business / fish / look at that cool thing type videos are going to come out over there. And then the Real Fish Talk, we're going to start putting some extra unboxings out over there. And probably the first video to come out this week, I hope, is a video at least day one of like one of the fish markets or something like that, because the video is going to make make these pictures look dumb compared to the video. So that's, if you enjoyed these pictures, you're really going to enjoy the video. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed. I know I did. I can't wait to go back. Probably be a year or two, but super cool. Thanks for everyone that hung out. Hit a thumbs up or a like. Leave comments down below. I'll try to answer the questions the best I can from memory and that type of stuff. From, oh, did you see this in China? Yes, I did or didn't. And we hit a new peak, 1,236. So that's super cool. And, can't complain about that. Setting new records and means this trip was a good trip. I appreciate everyone. And, yeah, we'll see you in a couple of days.